Daca, Deferred Action for Early Childhood Arrivals. This program was placed by President Obama to provide deferred action for certain individuals that met certain qualifications because they were perceived to be non-priorities for ICE and or the Department of Homeland Security. In order to qualify or to be considered for deferred action, you had to meet all of these qualifications. Some things are like you had to have come here before your 16th birthday, be under the age of 31 before June 15, 2012, and had to have continuously resided in the United States between June 15, 2007 and the present when you apply. And there was a variety of documents and things you had to present in order to prove that all of these things were true. And there was a lot of advocacy, a lot of groups that were helping people out to fill out these forms. Also, some lawyers were doing it. Some people thought it was unnecessary because they were charging money, but some people that weren't sure and they hadn't done it, so just to be sure, some people used lawyers. But there was also a lot of resources like the Mexican Consulate and a lot of other places that would help you out to do it for free. Now, Minnesota has always had a very strong culture of acceptance, especially of refugees. They have one of the largest refugee resettlement in the country, and you can see here some more numbers. A lot of different people from a lot of different places all over the world come here, and about 30,000 was the estimate of undocumented immigrants in Minnesota who were able to take advantage of this deferred action program that was put in place. And also we can see here some of the advantages that they were able to get from this is a better pay for their work. A lot of them were able to get driver's license or state ID, and they were able to help out family and bought their first car, and 92% of them were able to pursue their educational ambitions that they had. And I think also part of it was because you were sort of required to be in school in order to qualify for this, and in order to keep renewing it, you kind of had to stay in there or get a degree or something like that. Now, there was also a political aspect to it. People thought that, if they were providing this sort of program, everybody was going to go vote Democrat because of it. All the Latinos and people who were able to in somehow benefit from this. But I think in this past election, we had a pretty decent amount of Latinos voting for Trump, more than they expected. Whether that's a good thing or not, that's for you to decide. But yeah, it's not completely true, but it's still a very political thing. Now, there was a big push in 2011 and 2012 to try to get both DACA and DAPA passed as soon as possible. DAPA was basically a very similar executive action, but that would have benefited parents that had U.S. citizen kids in order to not be deported. However, I believe the Supreme Court was the one that shut that one down, but they didn't really talk about DACA because they felt like it was even more controversial than DAPA, so they kind of let DACA be. They didn't really take it to court or anything, so it's still active for the time being. Now, there is a lot of fear that it will get taken down because it is an executive order, meaning the president could take it out on day one if he wanted to. But there's a lot of things that they're trying to do to provide advocacy about this. Doing some rallies, a lot of rallies all over the country, especially right after the election, and also try to inform people of what's going on. Now, the economic impact that this has had, especially in Minnesota, it has been able to create a lot of growth. There are some numbers by the Department of Commerce. Immigrant-owned businesses generated $331 million in 2012 in Minnesota. Some of them were undocumented, some of them were not. I don't have specific, detailed numbers on that. But at least Hispanic-owned firms in the state have grown over 350% since 1990. And if immigrants were removed from the labor force in Minnesota, we would lose about 2,000 or 24,000 permanent jobs. Here are some more numbers to show you how this has benefited us economically. But overall, I think that it's important to know that this is not just to benefit those who are receiving the DACA program, but this also benefits our local economy. and it also has had a positive impact on people who were basically, a lot of them were brought here as very young kids who didn't really know what was going on, and they've been here for so many years, they don't really know their country, and well, this sort of provides a benefit for both. For those people who don't really know their country and basically believe that they are American at heart, and it also brings a positive economical impact for the economy, for the local economy, and for the overall national economy.